So my name's Alan Robitis, and I am the newest battalion chief for Concord Fire Department, assigned to Battalion 3. So I'm basically the shift supervisor for those guys. So we're at the New Hampshire Fire Academy today. We've got the benefit of having an engine and an ambulance covering a lot of the calls in the city today, so that I can rotate all of my stations through and get a couple of specific drills that we had put together for the guys to go through and hopefully hone their skills and refine some stuff.
Yeah. So that's why we gave a real address.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we're trying to make this as appropriate to Concord as we can get. So the first evolution was really a simple one. It was to simulate a bedroom fire in a residence, maybe at the specifically at the end of Westbourne Road. We picked that just because Westbourne Road's an older section of town for us. It's in a very tight neighborhood where there's very limited access. It actually dead ends into a residence, and it's very difficult to move vehicles in and out of there. We also set that up so that the ambulance crew would be first, as if they had just cleared a medical call and dropped a patient off at the hospital, which is totally possible with running something like 7,000 medical calls a year like we do. So those guys can leave the hospital and get dispatched to a building fire, just like they can be if they're in quarters. And that creates a circumstance where it's quite possible that they land there first, the ambulance crew, and they have to go start the process of either search and rescue or locating the fire or figuring out what the problem is. So we drilled on that first today to just get the wheels turning with the idea that it's not always going to go textbook for us, and someone's going to be out of place, or they're going to be coming from a wrong location or something like that.
Start putting water on the fire, start cooling off all the other surfaces that have been heated up and starting to off gas, right? Start resetting everything instead of like getting right to the fire room. So,
well, especially where you guys were waiting for us to do that, so you continue on.
And that was kind of part of the script. Was like, hey, we can't make the stairs, right? Like try to prompt you, like I can't make the stairs. Oh, let's put water on the fire, right?
And then the second drill we just did was to simulate an apartment fire in a high-rise complex for us.
My partner just notified me that we've got follow-up information from apartment 214 indicating smoke is coming out of the apartment door across the hall.
We don't have true real high rises. I think our tallest building is like 9 or 10 stories in town. But once you start to go past floor 3, it gets very difficult to fight fires in those buildings. So we have to have special equipment to do that with bundles of hose and everything else that we bring up. And we can tie into the building's suppression system and deploy our resources as that being the base of operations. And we don't get to do that a lot because we don't have a lot of those buildings necessarily. And we certainly don't have a lot of those buildings to train in because they're too full of people that are residing in them. But here at New Hampshire Fire Academy, they have a stair tower with a standpipe in it that we can use. But if we've got to operate out of one of the stair towers, if you pick the wrong one, it's a disaster, right? So you got to kind of figure that out.
I got Smokey on floor number 2. Let's take that bottom standpipe. Yeah, the good stretch here.
You know, I've been at the with the fire department for 24 years now, and you know, over the course of those 24 years, I've done hundreds of trainings. And one of the traps that we fall into is, you know, if you just make it simple. And what happens is the guys get off the truck, they go do what they do every time, they pull the hose off, they spray some water, we call the drill done. And some of our fires do go that way, and it goes that quick, and it's nice and simple, and we all get to go home early. But being the new guy on the shift and trying to get some evaluation of where the company officers and the firefighters are at skill-wise, and to get them thinking past the easy. I've certainly been working with the captain, Captain Dumas. He's great. He's an incredible training person, and we've been working scenarios out that go past the simple and go one step further to really exercise people's brains and start getting them used to problem solving on the fly. And it's been working out. The guys have been really receptive about it. It could go one of two ways, right? They could hate it or they could love it, and it makes them, you know, all the more challenged, but they've been very good about it, and I can't complain. They've been good to me. So one of the things in these fire resistive or non-combustible buildings that we have going for us is the compartmentalization of them, right? So even if you're not ready with the hose or whatever, you scout for it, what can you always do to control a fire? Shut the door. right? And that sort of closes up a lot of problems. So it's nice for days like today because I get to take a group of people and we get to do something that hopefully makes all of us, including myself, better, and it's uninterrupted, right? When I get these guys here, it's uninterrupted training. Barring a big fire in town right now, I get these guys for 2 hours each. Each station I get for 2 hours, and I can kind of lock us down and get something legit accomplished without the day-to-day interruptions. By and large, this never happens for us. Each group gets one of these days a year. So this is my day. And for the most part, the idea of getting this many units working together cohesively, like is supposed to happen on the fire scene, it just doesn't happen for us in Concord. We're just too busy to put, 3 groups all together and working together, and it's really a choreography of who's supposed to do what, and timing matters, and whose job is what. And when you train, and my guys certainly train quite a bit, but they train individually. And today's so important because this is our one opportunity of the year to really squeeze everybody together and see if that choreography is actually timing out the right way.